there, we're now tuned in with the Prince podcast here live in London. My name is Chloe Calvin, and with me, I have Stacia Lang. Hi, Stacy. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So what was your expectations of tonight, and how do you feel being back in London?
Oh, my goodness. Well, first of all, I love being back in London. A few years ago, I worked on a movie here called Jupiter Ascending with Kim Barrett, and I loved just discovering everything about London, and I've done that here too this week.
So tell us a bit more about what did you keep in mind while you was designing for Prince at your time with him?
Well, I think the number one thing I had to keep in mind was his movement. And one thing I knew very, very early on was that Prince loved to be comfortable. He wanted soft and luxurious fabrics, and I wanted to make sure that he could move, and he had freedom of movement because he was a beautiful, beautiful dancer and beautiful mover. So I needed to make sure that he had all of that.
How do you feel knowing that the pieces that you worked with Prince have now become iconic in the fashion industry?
It's funny because as you say that, it almost seems impossible because as we were working in Paisley Park, which was in the middle of Chanhassen, Minnesota, far, far away from the center of fashion and haute couture and of Paris, you just think, well, what really are we creating here? But I think Prince, of course, brought our creations to life. So that was really the main thing that made it sort of catapulted everything I've done into the public eye and makes people want to copy it. I don't think it's necessarily the designs themselves, but it's the marriage between the designs and Prince that created the magic, and then people want maybe a little bit of that. Yeah.
I have a special question. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Oh no, I'm scared now.
If you could style Prince for this event tonight, what would you design for him?
Oh my gosh. First of all, I was honored to be able to design something for Ingrid Chavez. And she has a song called, and it was written for Prince as a poem, You Gave Me Wings. And so we used feathers, which I absolutely love feathers. And so we, together, we created something beautiful for her. For Prince, I would say, later on in his life, I think he became a little bit more, I would say a little bit more reserved. I used to put him in things, of course, the butt-out costume, that was more notorious, but also things that showed off his physique, and because he just had a beautiful, beautiful body, and I always loved doing that. For tonight's event, it is a celebration and a sort of, I want to say a memorial. He did a concert here. It's a concert 20 years ago. Yeah. So I would probably look back at the history and also try to imagine him here in this venue. That's one thing I wasn't able to do a lot when I was at Paisley because he was everywhere. He was on tour. He'd be in different countries. He'd be in different venues. He'd be in a stadium. So this venue is very, very special. And like with Ingrid, I wanted to do something a little bit more burlesque and a little bit more theatrical. And so I think I would pull Prince back into the theatrical mode, and I would want him to wear something that was pushing the boundaries again. Not so conservative anymore, not straight tailoring, something a little bit more exotic. Yeah.
Do you have a color in mind? Do you have a color?
Oh, well, I have to say, this venue has the colors, I believe, that like soft muted tones of the 20s. And I've always loved the 20s. Prince, of course, when I was working with Prince, we put him in shocking colors, maybe black and white combination. So I think what I would love to do is look around the venue and see what colors inspire me. Muted tones. It's funny because he didn't like muted tones. He liked clean, crisp, bright colors. But I think now if I were dressing him, I would try to get him to wear a few muted tones.
Thank you so much, Stacia. And before you go any further, tell us about hopes for the future and what's going on for you.
Wow. Well, I'm still working in the film industry. I build superhero costumes for movies in Hollywood. My last 4 films have all been space, like sci-fi space movies with like hardcore spacesuits. So I love to do something sort of fantastical. Every chance that I get, I love on my own to be able to do something feminine, soft, beautiful for women. So I love to do that. So I'd like to do more of that. And I'd love to work with more musicians. Yeah.
Where can we find you on social media? What's your social media?
I'm on Facebook. I have my personal Facebook page, but also I have a professional page, the fan page. And then I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram, Stacia Lang Design. And where else? Oh, my website, stacialangfeatherstudio.com.
So much for spending some time with me, and I hope you enjoy your evening and the rest of your trip in London. Thank you.